Hey everyone, welcome to Morethanmeetstheseguys. The podcast is a journey through Transformers from the beginning of the animated series with two old friends coming at it, especially old, from different perspectives. Together, we will go episode by episode with the occasional extra to see how the show holds up or if it's a trap of nostalgia. We'll be looking at all things involved in the episode, whether there were real-world factors that crept into the writing or the episode was typical afternoon cartoon fodder. I'm Evan, I'm a lifelong fan who's familiar with all aspects of the franchise, while Ed here, he's familiar with Transformers, but it was really nothing he got into when he was younger. So thanks for being here, everyone. Ed, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing well. We're both wearing red t-shirts today. We didn't, I swear to God, we didn't plan that. If you're not watching on YouTube, then just imagine that we're both wearing red t-shirts today.
Autobros before Deceptifoes.
Oh,
And I got the
okay.
bros, man. I got Sunstreaker and Sideswipe.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, because they're actually brothers.
Yeah,
So
brothers.
I don't know how I don't know how that works on like Cybertronian families work though, because like were they how are they brothers?
I don't know. They are.
I mean, were they made at the same
Sure,
factory
man.
or same designer, the
I
same
really,
like person
I don't know. I have a good answer for you. I'm sure there's probably fan fiction written about it. I'm sure there's probably retcons and stuff about it. But as far as going from the show, we're just going to go that way. It's never really touched on. So
Can we look that up for a future episode? Because I'm curious now as how they're the only ones, right, that are like addressed as being siblings. Is that right?
Right now, yeah. It was the 80s. They're like, well, let's meet these guys' brothers. This guy, this one's son. That kind of stuff. It didn't really make a lot of sense. It really didn't need to.
Who was a son? Someone was a son of somebody else.
Okay. There later on there was a character named Six Shot. It was transformed to 6 different modes.
6 different things?
Yeah, man. It was actually pretty good. Pretty spot on.
Is it the hardest Transformer to transform?
No, actually, it's pretty easy. But there's that. I know. And then they were trying to advertise another 6-changer, which is a really terrible toy called Quick Switch. It was the commercial said 6-shot son, but he was the narrator guy.
Oh yeah.
And the Quick Switch was the Autobot. 6-shot is a Decepticon. So, okay, later on in the Japanese stuff, 6-shot became 6-Night was Autobot. Anyways, I'm not going to get on all that. This a lot of a lot of weeds to go through. But yeah, so there's really not a lot of that. There's I guess kind of talks like Descendants or whatever. They get into the in the G2 comics, like the descendants of Transformers and how they kind of like go. I don't know, man. It's a long tale. There's lots of things with that, but honestly, I don't think they ever really explain in the show how they're brothers. I'll look in the comics a bit and want to get a chance, but yeah, no.
I'm very curious. Yeah, I'm very curious. Something else I was curious about since the last episode was my copy of Turmoil in the Toy Box that we talked about last time. And
Yes.
man, I dug and
dug.
Oh, you got one?
I got one in, man. I went to thriftbooks.com and got it because I'm not giving Phil Phillips my money. This dude right here, look at that guy.
Yeah, look at him.
He's terrible.
God,
he looks like a 1980s like youth group minister or something like that. He looks terrible. He
was an 80s youth group minister.
Actually,
he looks like Tomax and or Zaymot from G.I. Joe.
Let me get this glare off there. Yeah. This dude, yes, of course he looks like a youth minister because he is one. He looks like he has like people in his basement. Yeah, I'm not giving Phil Phillips any money. So I bought
no.
I'd rather give them money.
Well, all right. Well, as soon as I can find mine, we're doing a subdivision on that because I'm extremely curious, and I think it'll probably be a lot more entertaining than the episode we're going to cover today.
And honestly, the illustrations alone in this book
are very good.
Oh,
they're gold. God. I mean, they're not good, but they're
good for like what is going on here. I'm trying to find when there's like one where there's like TV or whatever is going to an IV, which is going to the arms of children. God, there's like
I mean, it's not inaccurate.
Well, no, it's not, but it makes it seem so much more sinister. I mean, all we had to do was thank Ronald Reagan for that.
Well, I was about to bring up Ronald Reagan. That's really funny that you mentioned that because I can guarantee you that guy loved Ronald Reagan.
Oh yeah, the Gipper.
So yeah, that's pretty funny. The other thing, so I've in my downtime lately, I've been I've been playing video games,
Mhm.
as I tend to do, and I finished Ghost of Tsushima for
You
the
finally,
second
I've
time.
not finished that. I love that, but I've
I
not
finished it. This is the second time I finished it. I
really.
adore that game. It's so good. And but I got that anytime I finish something, like if I watch like a like a TV series or
Mhm.
something, or like a big like epic series of movies or something like that,
Mhm.
you get that feeling at the end where you're like, I'm kind of lost and I don't know what to engage with now. I
Yeah.
don't know what to I don't know what to watch or what to do
Mhm.
or whatever. And so I've been kind of lost the last couple of days. I don't know what I want to like. I want to play something, but I don't know what I want to play. So if you're on Discord and you have any suggestions, please send them my way. But I was while I was going through my library, I was like, oh hey, I have all of the Batman Arkham games,
Oh yeah.
and I'm gonna like maybe I'll play those. Like I remember like I played Arkham Asylum a long time ago, and I think I played a little bit of City, but that's it. And the because I have this thing where if I like marathon through like one game and then I'll play the next one immediately after that, I'm like I'm just fatigued from that formula and I don't want to play anymore. Like
Yeah, I get that.
if you beat like an Assassin's Creed and then you play the next Assassin's Creed, you're like, I just did this for X amount of hours. I don't want to do any more of this.
Yeah.
And so you play like 3 or 4 hours and you get tired. I did the same thing with Far Cry recently. I was real excited about Far Cry 5 and ripped through it, loved it, and I was like, well, I'm gonna get Far Cry 6 because that's up my alley, and liked it, and I was like, I just don't want to do this anymore. So, but anyway, so I played through almost all of Arkham Asylum, which is very good. It's like, have you played Arkham Asylum?
I played a little bit of the first one. Was that Asylum?
Yeah, that's Arkham Asylum.
Yeah,
Arkham
yeah.
Asylum is basically it's like a mix of the first Metal Gear Solid game and
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda, like a 3D
It
Legend
kind
of
of is,
Zelda
yeah.
is basically what it is with
Yeah.
Batman stuff, and it's really good. It's really
Yeah.
cool. It's a good take on the Batman mythology, which I really like, um, and I really dig it. However, this time, about 2/3 of the way through the game, my save glitched,
Ooh.
and I was in this weird situation where I didn't have a goal. I didn't
Mhm.
have a like I couldn't go back and restart the plot to get to the next place, and there was like a locked door and I couldn't advance. I couldn't
Yeah.
go back and I couldn't advance. So like so I was like, well, and I was having a lot of fun with it too. I was like doing I was getting a whole lot of the Riddler trophies, which I don't think I did the first time and all this.
Mhm.
So I was like, well, you know what? I've beat this before and I know the ending, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and play Arkham City.
Mhm.
And man, oh my god.
Not what you needed.
Man, I was like, oh, this is like Arkham Asylum, but open world. I'm gonna
Mhm.
love. Like, I'm gonna I like this is good. Open world games are like that's my thing because like the Spider-Man game is amazing.
Mhm. Oh yeah, it
I
is.
like I said, I like the new Assassin's Creed games. I like Far Cry and that kind of stuff. I was like, oh my god, this is it's like these same mechanics, but with an open world. This is gonna be great. And buddy, I loathe that game because I feel like that game hates me. I feel like that game is so eager to like prove how smart it is and how stupid the
Yeah.
player is that it just made me physically angry, and I'm like, I'm not playing this anymore. I was like, let me play a little bit of was it Arkham Knight, I think is the next one, and
Mhm.
that has the single worst vehicle gameplay I've ever played in my life.
Oof.
I was like, man, this is awful. So I just like rage deleted these games from my PS4. I was so
Ooh.
mad at these games. I was just angry at these games. And yeah, so
Sorry.
I don't. I guess I'm probably just gonna play The Witcher 3 again. I guess that's probably what I'm gonna do,
Which,
unless somebody wants to suggest something else that maybe I haven't played, some other open world game that I haven't played. And I know you're gonna say you gotta play Horizon Zero Dawn, and I have tried to play Horizon Zero Dawn, and I know it's good. I just can't. I just can't click with it. I just can't engage with it. So
well, I'm not going to say that. Maybe someone else will. So I don't really have a lot
they
of
will. They
time.
will.
Oh yeah, they will. They will. Everyone will be like, oh, you don't understand
Mhm.
how the dynamic works with your algorithm. I don't care. So
No,
I'm
I get it. I'm
yeah.
sure it's great. My daughter loves it. I'm just
Mhm.
like, I don't know. I can't click with it.
It's
I
like
don't know.
I know people love Arc. I don't know. I get bored with Arc.
I didn't. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of those survival
No,
games
nah, not
like
either.
that. I don't
Like
know.
I if I want to do that, like I've got what was that the trying not to die together the hell's that game? Anyways, it's basically like it's very like almost like caricature like kind of creatures, people in it. I'm gonna remember the game as soon as I stop recording.
Minecraft.
No, it's not Minecraft. No, I can't stand that thing. Anyways, yeah. So I've been playing, like, my stepson has been playing WoW for like 11 or 12 years. He loves the game.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, he loves it. And like, so I started getting into it, like, it's kind of fun. I get into this. I understand. Start playing the like hardcore. So, like it was more like, I wonder how long I could survive, because once you die in that, you're dead. That kind of stuff. But I get to the point where I'm like, I'm doing the same quest over again. I just can't stand it. So,
Kill 10 of these and come back here.
Yeah.
I'll give you a pair of pants.
Exactly. But
that's just like a job, really. I mean, like, except my boss just gives me money and I go buy my own pair of pants. I don't have to wait my boss to directly give me a pair of pants.
Yeah. Really.
Although it may be a little easier if he did give me a pair of pants or maybe a hat. Sometimes, I have gotten a hat at work sometimes for
there you go.
Doing something cool. So
honestly though, that's a game that I used to hate because when we were playing pen and paper RPGs, like, I remember for one, actually our friend JB, he used to like stop playing with us because he had a raid.
Because he was playing World of Warcraft. Yeah.
Like, I hated the game. I railed against it. So,
I didn't like it. That I feel like that game really kind of wrecked a lot of tabletop games. But that game also wrecked a lot of friendships in general, though. That game was kind of directly responsible for a bad breakup of mine. But also a good friend of ours was in town once. She lived back at the time. She lived in hundreds of miles away from where we live, and she came to visit one time and was like, "Oh, hey, I want to take all you guys out to dinner." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And so I rounded everybody up, and at the time she was like, "Oh, where's so and so?" And I was like, "Oh, he told him to come, but he had a World of Warcraft raid and he couldn't make it on a Saturday night dinner." Yeah. And she's like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, he wanted to go in the morning because he had a 3-hour slice of time where he wasn't playing World of Warcraft. And she was like, "He is dead to me." This guy at the time, though, this guy at the time was my roommate, and there was a stretch where he would go to work, come home, come in, say, "Hey, talk to me for like 5 minutes." Then he would throw 2 steaks into his Fry Daddy Jr. and fry 2 steaks. He would deep fry 2 steaks. And as a guy that likes steaks, I'm real angry about frying steaks.
Man, you got to deep fry 2 steaks.
He would just deep fry 2 steaks and then take those 2 steaks and a liter of Mountain Dew up to his bedroom and just play World of Warcraft the rest of the night. Man, and eat 2 steaks.
I like that dude. He's good people, and I'm sad they had that issue.
Every day he would do this. It was. And so and every now and then I'm like, "Oh man, I kind of miss playing World of Warcraft." And like you can play for free now for X amount of levels, and and every now and then I'll get on and I'll play and level a dude up to level 20 in a couple of hours, and I'm like, that's the exact amount of nostalgia that I wanted out of that game. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm glad that's there, that you can do that, because I'm just like, I'm glad I didn't re-up, because it was like, well, I've done everything that you really need to do. And I don't like to raid. So
we actually re-upped our subs to Final Fantasy 14 online, which is a lot like that, except it's very pretty. It's like, if you like the aesthetic of almost anime like Final Fantasy games, or the later ones, like the cutscenes and stuff. It's a very fun game. But I swear, you can just sit there and people watch, and people do the silliest stuff, and it's just kind of fun. It's so lighthearted. You feel like you can jump into a game, play for a little while, and you're good.
No, it's a beautiful game. My problem with it is that I played it on PlayStation 5, and it is a very, very good console implementation of an MMO.
Yes,
it's not always hard, because most of them rely on keyboard and mouse. But so the thing, they did the controller scheme really well, but the problem with it is that in every MMO, it's every level you're just you're getting more and more and more and more and more abilities, right? So in Final Fantasy, it's so you have like your face buttons, like your triangle, square,
Mhm.
cross, and O are like base commands, right? And so to do your combat commands, you like hold L2 and then
Yep.
do one of those. But then as you level up, you get more. So it unlocks another slot. So then you get like R2 and a button, and then you
Yeah.
get L2 and R2 and a button,
Yep.
and then you get L1 and it's like after a
Yeah.
while it's like so many layer, and I'm like and even in like playing MMOs on a PC, it's like if like I would never have more than like 4 main abilities. Anything that I can't do with one hand, I'm just
Yep.
not doing it. That's
First
why I was
four
real bad at the
fingers.
game.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
four
I'm
three
sitting
two
there with
one,
like
four
I
three
got
two.
1 through 4, and if I need to, I'll go to 5 or 6 or whatever. But yeah, 1 through 4 is where my main
Yeah,
stuff is. That's what it is.
yeah,
Like, like years ago, I played D&D online, DDO, because I hated
mhm,
WoW so much because it broke up a lot of games. It was just like WoW, but with D&D stuff. We just
mhm.
kind of like, it's like I don't know, it's WoW was pretty much based on D&D, so D&D trying to make a game that was based on WoW, but anyways, yeah, it was ridiculous. But I also, yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
it's
it was very
circular logic and whatnot.
yeah.
But man, okay, I hate to change subjects completely here, but so I kind of asked my wife earlier because she's 6 years younger than I am. I said, look, I I I keep seeing a lot of flack for the, I guess I don't know if it's a reboot or a continuation of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. It's like it's called Bel Air. It's kind of a serious. It's a lot darker than the old TV show was, and
Yeah.
I don't
Um,
understand that. There are some things that you don't need an update for. In Will Smith in that time in his life was just kind of the perfect thing. You have so many memorable things from that show. So I'm thinking like, what are really good reboots and what are really bad reboots that we've seen? Like, what could use a good reboot? So that's what kind of got you thinking of. So I was asked her, like what she thought, and I like her answers because they actually gave me a lot of thought about it. She says, you know what? When I was younger, I watched a lot of not Full House, but she did Home Improvement, Tim Allen, whole thing, and it was a nice slice of like middle income America because you had a house in a suburb with like a picket fence around, that picket a privacy fence. You had a neighbor who you talked to over the back fence while you're doing yard work and stuff. It was a nice thing. They had 3 kids and they all had their coming of age problems. So that could, honestly, that could be a really good reboot in a different way. Whatever you think about Tim Allen, I don't really care, but as a person, but as far as like a concept for a show, but you also you go back to something like Roseanne, and I know the reboot of Roseanne, the continuation was kind of problematic because of people involved. But like the idea that you could follow a family that maybe you could identify with better because they were a poor family trying to get by, that could use a nice refresh, like because things aren't any easier than they used to be, even though people tell you they are. But
yeah, no, I would agree with that. However, have you seen the show Raising Hope?
have not.
Raising Hope is very much like a modern, kind of like a modern take on Roseanne. It's a very like a low class family that yeah, is just like kind of trying to make it. And it has
Huh.
Martha Plimpton in it, and it's actually not bad.
Who's that? Is that
Um,
again? Martha Plimpton?
Martha Plimpton, yeah, she was in like a lot of stuff in the she was in Goonies. She was
Okay.
the girl with the glasses in Goonies,
Oh, I know you're talking
and
about. Okay. I was
yeah,
thinking,
she was also in
she the
she was in
mom or something.
Parenthood. Yeah, she's the mom. Yeah, but
Okay.
she was Keanu Reeves' girlfriend in the
Yep.
Parenthood movie, which
Yeah.
I like that movie a
I
lot.
like that a lot.
Insane cast in that,
Oh, he was
absolutely insane cast.
fantastic.
But that's a movie that got rebooted as a TV show.
Nice.
That I
I
don't
like that
think
a
is
lot.
very good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
never watched that, but I like that. Having these kind of concepts. I mean, I was thinking about like there was a very short list of things. I would say like there are certain shows that you shouldn't touch because they are perfect the way they are, as weird as they are. Like Twin Peaks, for instance, you can't touch that. That is such a weird show. It doesn't need a reboot. It had the continuation, like years later. Like I think it was on Showtime or whatever. And
Mhm.
it's such an odd show. There's no reason to redo it because Dave Lynch is
I
a
mean,
bad.
that wasn't a redo. That was like a just like an additional season
Yeah,
though.
it was like an
Like
additional season, like a continuation of the show.
right, right,
You
yeah.
you can't really redo something like that because the cast, the it almost felt like a almost like a soap opera, like a soap opera in the 90s, but done with like a softer lens because you're showing like a sitcom almost. That
Right.
sitcom kind of lens. You know how like certain shows look different. Soap operas had a different look than TV shows that came on like the prime time. I
Well,
mean,
they were filmed on videotape. That's why
okay,
they look
maybe that'd be
why
why.
they look weird like that. And you
Well,
because you're seeing them at 60 frames per second instead of 24
no,
because they're not
that
shot
makes
on film.
sense. I know you worked with when you're in California, you worked with a lot of filming stuff. You were worked on
I
that
did.
aspect of it, so you would know more than I would. But yeah,
Yeah,
look,
that was the thing. They were shot on video, and they look like garbage. So it's one of the reasons why you're like when you see like your family's home movies from the 80s, they look like trash.
yeah,
Because the frame rate is different.
yeah,
Yeah, is things that I would like to see rebooted though.
yeah,
God, like you know, the things I feel like I think we've talked about reboots in the past a little bit, but because I think that Battlestar Galactica, I think to me is like the gold standard for a reboot because they took an idea that was really dated and really kind of beanie if you look at it with modern eyes, and they made a really good modern take on it.
yeah.
Um,
I actually I'm kind of sad that I didn't get into it. I watched like the first like I think 3 seasons, and I kind of once everyone became a Cylon, I just kind of like I lost it. Like everyone was a
I think the
Cylon.
writers kind of lost it too. I
Yeah.
think that was a case of almost like Game of Thrones where they just didn't really know what they
Mm,
were what they wanted to do after a while.
yeah.
But but the thing is that the thing that show reminds me of more than a lot of things, it reminds me more of even more than the original Battlestar Galactica. It reminds me a lot of Robotech, and I would honestly
Yeah.
like, man, Robotech's a rough watch a lot of times these days, and I would like to see. I wouldn't mind seeing a like a modern take on Robotech.
There,
Not really. I don't know if live action would be. I don't know. Maybe live action would be good. I don't know.
well, if they treat it like they did Battlestar Galactica, yes, because there's I know there's been the rumblings of a live action movie based on
Mhm.
Robotech for years. I mean, that's just how it is. The license has been passed around a lot. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong to blame Harmony Gold on this, but yeah, I blame Harmony Gold. Um,
You
yeah,
can
don't
blame
get
Harmony
started.
Gold. You can. I think
Don't
you
get
can. I
started on
think
Harmony Gold. But
Harmony Gold.
dude, that'd be fantastic if they gave the updated Battlestar Galactica treatment. How good that would be. Think about like you flying out in a Veritech. I was going to say Valkyrie, a Veritech, and like having the aspect that like Starbuck had in the oh god, what's the name of the fighter in BSG?
The Viper.
Viper, yes, in the Viper Mark II. You're in that. Instead of that, you're in a Veritech, and it transforms into a Gerlock mode or your a Battleoid mode.
So they actually call them. Harmony Gold actually calls them Valkyries now. That's the official name for them
Oh,
in
okay.
English now.
Well, Jesus, thanks, Harmony Gold. Get your stuff sorted out, man. I wanted to call them Valkyries for so many years. So yeah, so Valkyrie is a
I know.
much cooler name than Veritech.
Yeah.
Valkyrie because if you look at the mythological connotations of what
Yeah.
Valkyrie is,
Yeah.
it's
It's
really cool.
cool. Right.
Man, I think that would probably be the next Lord of the Rings of if you actually got a good Robotech movie out there. Because
I've been watching Lord of the Rings. I've been rewatching Lord of the Rings lately. I decided to watch all of them in order, and
oh really?
yeah, well, I finally finished watching all the Hobbit movies. I've never finished all the Hobbit movies,
Ah,
and man, that third one's not too bad.
the middle that kills me.
It's just I don't know, man. Like they could have done something really cool with that. The problem with it is that the Hobbit, the book, the Hobbit is a very lighthearted romp. It's a fantasy romp, and
It's
it's
a
very
children's
short.
book. It's a children's
It's a
fantasy
children's
book.
book, and they went a little too far into like having to go out of their way to tie it into Lord of the Rings and keep the
Yeah,
tone kind of the same. But man, Martin Freeman really good.
man, I love Martin Freeman in that. He is
He's
such a good Bilbo.
he's really good in that. And I like seeing Ian McKellen play Gandalf again. That's really cool. You get more Christopher Lee as Saruman. Christopher Lee is awesome.
So good. We just watched the Wicker Man again. I watch that movie every so often. That's such a good movie. That's
I love the Wicker Man,
oh, it's so good. Anyways, sorry.
you know what I don't love though
What's
is Desertion of the Dinobots episode 2.
that? Dude, okay.
Um, so
How do you really feel
okay,
about
guys,
this?
everyone out there in podcast land, in case you're wondering why we just like just goofed off for like a half an hour there, it's because there's nothing to talk about in this episode.
It's
Spoiler.
so fast,
So
honestly.
yeah, because there's just no content here. So yeah,
I don't know. There's such weird stuff in this episode. But they actually get to a point where okay, well,
start us off then. Start us off. Go ahead.
Tell me. So the ended the desertion of the Dinobots part 1 with Shockwave blowing up the space bridge chamber thing where the people come in. But what really happened is he just disintegrated Carly's car. That's all he did. Oh, okay. Ed's leaving now. So
sorry about that. I just got a new dog, and he can't decide if he wants to go in or out.
Oh, I haven't met the dog yet, so.
Oh yeah. I'll post some stuff about the dog. He's real cool. So Shockwave has his gun just makes Carly's car go away. It just disappears. It's like the kid from the Twilight Zone movie. It doesn't blow up. It just literally goes away.
But you know what he does? He does that to his entire like station. They start running and hiding. He starts like disintegrating like computer panels, like load bearing beams. Yeah, there's like everything's moving. Like I went
entire lab. He doesn't care.
The roof to fall in.
Dude, he doesn't care. He has he's not afraid of anything. He's like, you know what? I'll disintegrate everything I own just to get rid of you. He should have
kept his other gun hand, like with him as a gun, because I think he was more control then. It's like he kept him like balanced. Now he's losing it. He's been waiting. He waited on Megatron on a Skype call for 4 million years. So he is not in the is that
4 million years.
4 million years.
This is the patience of a saint.
Yeah, man. Megatron left him on red for 4 million years, so he is not in the right state of mind. So he is just angry right now. But he calls them. Was that?
If you sat at a control booth for 4 million years, you'd be out of your mind too. You'd probably be disintegrating stuff or whatever he's doing.
I'm out of my mind if I sit at a computer for like 2 hours. But okay. Side story. My Thursday nights are like 2 classes. I have foundations and sampling, which sampling is essentially like stats, but with having to do with natural science. It's maddening. So I sit there for 3 hours on Thursday nights, and I want to pull my hair out. I love science, but my God. So yeah, I sit there for 3 hours. 4 million years sitting there, I would lose my mind. I would burn everything around me.
So first of all, I'm real disappointed that your sampling class isn't like how to make like sick hip hop beats.
Oh man, I wish. I wish. Oh my God, if I didn't have to do like standard error equations every week, I'd be so much happier.
Soundwave's probably real good at that. I bet Soundwave's real good at that beats, dude. He's probably the best.
Okay, but Shockwave calls them miserable glitches, but you gotta kind of feeling you want to call them something else. But that we're in the 80s cartoon realm, so miserable glitches is what he calls them. And so they roll under this computer panel, and Shockwave looks so pissed off. He like gets down, he reaches under there, looks, and they're like, well, we're in here now. And so Spike uses his thumb radio. He like, hope see if this thing works. Pulls away. Man, I don't know where he got these thumb communicators. I want those things. Man, you get a walkie-talkie from Radio Shack in the 80s. That thing was like 10 feet away. You couldn't hear the other person. This guy,
oh yeah,
he's on a thumb radio like millions of light years away from Earth, and he can talk like no problem.
Zero lag,
dude.
Zero lag.
We are about we'll say like 3.5 hours away, like on the Zoom, and every so often I'll start like jumping and stuff.
I know
you'll freeze up. He is on another planet with zero lag, and dude,
I know.
He calls the Autobot base, and it looks like last call. I mean, they're all like on the floor, like passed out. They're looking bad. They look like it was a bad night at the handlebar, and and
they were all crashed out on each other.
Man, it was terrible. And so, but Sparkplug's there. He's like, "Hey, son." He calls Teletran 1, by the way. So Teletran 1 like connects him with Sparkplug, his dad, and Teletran 1 constructs this Tron light frame image of where he's at, which is cool.
it was cool. They looked real anime there.
Yeah.
Like their faces were drawn very 80s anime. They look more like Gundam dudes than they did like Transformers
Yeah.
people.
By the way, everyone, if you check out the YouTube, the picture we're gonna have for the thumbnail for this week is give me something along those lines. So, check out the YouTube. Anyways,
Also check out our red t-shirts that we're wearing on YouTube.
Red brothers.
So Carly has no reservations about just grabbing wires out of the wall. She's like, we can just hijack the space bridge, and she's just like ripping wires out of the wall. And like what's the plan? She's like, she wants to take control of the space bridge. Why? How?
She's gonna do a totally 1980s hot wiring. Because everything in the 80s you could hot wire. If you just like took a few wires that didn't really go anything, you clicked them together, they would hot wire something, right?
I mean, it usually works. The other day my air conditioner in my house broke, and I was troubleshooting it over the phone. But thankfully, my brother-in-law is an HVAC dude, but lives a few hours away from me, which is real good. But he was like, "Hey, let's try this." And one of the things that we did to rule out that my thermostat was bad was that we hot wired the thermostat. He's like, pull your thermostat off, pull these wires out, push these wires together, see if it starts it up. And it didn't. So but it effectively, we were hot wiring my my air conditioner.
Nice.
Yeah, awesome. And you can do that.
I know who to call when mine goes out. But
yeah, exactly. I'm real good. I'm an ace at it now, so I fixed it myself.
But yeah, so there's this room where it looks like a metal Sarlacc pit. There's a big glowing thing in the middle.
Was a metal Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, and they're like, she's saying they're trying to hotwire this spark. It's traveling down, and I don't know how sparks work on other worlds, but in this world you don't see them. They just go whoop, you're shocked. This thing is slowly traveling down this wire, and like Spike's like, Carly, look out. And it shocks her, and she falls down into the pit, and she can't get out. Whoa, what? Okay.
No, my new dog just keeps going in and out. So I'm just trying to close the door. So I needed a stick. So I had a poster tube laying down there. See, now he's coming back in. Come back in and then out. So yeah, very unprofessional, and I apologize. But
oh my God, we're cutting this off now. We're gonna do it next week. No, so there's they're basically in the master computer, I guess, for Cybertron, and they break it within 5 minutes. They break Cybertron in 5 minutes, which, I mean, that's pretty impressive, man. I have done things that should have broken my electronics out of rage. My MacBook I'm using right now, and it was not out of rage. It was a complete mistake, and I was like, pissed myself when it happened. I was going somewhere, and my MacBook, I left it on the hood of the car. It was my cover was gray. My car is gray.
Oh no!
So I start driving, and I'm pissed off, and I had a faux leather binder and stuff on the hood also, and it flew off. I'm like, what the heck? And I see my MacBook open up and catch wind and fly over my car. To this day, I have 2 corners of the MacBook that are like bent. The metal's bent. Works fine. That thing took a pounding. A pounding. Boot arrived, no problem. I that point on, I'm like, man, Apple, you got me. Because man,
Optimus Prime couldn't take that kind of
beating. Optimus Prime would have been fallen dead. Apart.
Yeah, he would have fallen apart from that.
Oh, so, yeah, he would like revive him with like the 50th time. Like, hey, Optimus Prime's dead. Oh wait, we found a way to bring him back. No, my MacBook went right up. So yeah, man, honestly, she's impressive to break the planet within 5 minutes.
Yeah, the whole deal. They fall into the Sarlacc pit though, and Spike goes down there. But Spike has a flashlight that he calls a photon light. Yeah, it's brighter than normal light. Hey, you know what photons are?
Yes,
they're light.
Yes,
all light is just photons.
Yeah, so it basically has a flashlight of light.
He has a flashlight. Is what he has because this is ridiculous.
For our British friends, he has a torch made of torch.
I I love that. I love that terminology.
I love that's one of the favorite things about British people. They call like flashlight a torch because I feel like I'm playing D&D.
Well, I had this like storybook when I was a kid that was like apparently some British storybook, and it was like these adventure stories, like boys' adventure stories. And there was one where they kept talking about having a torch, and I was like, when is this taking place? I thought this was taking place in like modern times, and I thought they were running around like they were like a black metal band with with in the woods with. Yeah, this was I didn't until years later that they meant an electric torch, which is pretty funny.
The only reason I know that is because of Doctor Who, which I know you hate. So there you go.
I sure do. I'm sure I'm getting canceled right now, but so Spike and Carly escaped the Sarlacc pit by climbing down a ladder that his dad had to look up from Earth, that they couldn't look down and see it. That was cool. But they're walking around this cool like purple landscape with hallways and stuff, and there's some weird music going on here. Like they got some game show music. It was like Richard Dawson was going to come out and like kiss a bunch of ladies.
But man, I love this though. Shockwave sends the Sentinel to deal with humans. This is the worst robot I've ever seen.
Oh, he was a 1950s robot. He had tank treads for feet. This guy was terrible.
He looked like he was in some like MST3K like bad like I made this on my parents' basement movie, and yeah, he looked like he had tank treads with like I don't know, he had this stupid looking like 50s robot head.
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure that I've blown this guy up in Fallout a few times.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you have actually. It makes a lot of sense.
So there's a part before this though that I don't know why this was even thrown in there, but Spike and Carly find a bunch of Energon, and they're like, oh, Energon, and they're like, I thought this planet was out of Energon, and they were there for the Cybertronian. They're like, oh, just leave it alone. We don't need that. It was a total weird subplot. Like I figured that was going to come up again later on.
Well, I kind of get the feeling like they've been like sending Energon up through the space bridge, and that's kind of they were supposed to bring that up.
Why did they even mention it though? Like it had nothing, has zero to do with the actual thing. And I figured that like they would like plant some seeds of, oh hey, also we found a way to make Energon on Cybertron.
That would have actually been really good, because like he tells like Spike's like, hey dad, we found a bunch of Energon. He's like, that's not important. We need the Cybertonium.
It is important. It's the MacGuffin of the entire series. It absolutely is important.
Well, no, dude, they have the world energy chip. They don't need that.
Oh, I forgot about the world energy.
Yeah, man, it's like the relay of world energy. So yeah,
Swoop shows up.
It's really stupid too because you can see how he looks. You see the silhouette, and they're in like Wheeljack's lab, and like the ceiling caves in and stuff, and like Spike picks up a big gun. Spike's thing in the entire series is I'm going to get a gun the size of me and I'm going to shoot it. There's like Megatron's master plan. He shot a big gun. There's like so many episodes where he picks up what is essentially like a pea shooter for like an Autobot. He's like this holding up and shoots it. He shoots and hits Swoop.
He's done this a few times. Yeah, he shoots Swoop. And,
he's the best shot of the Autobots.
My problem at this point, though, is that we're halfway through this episode at this point, and nothing is happening. Like it's just been Spike and Carly walking around for 15 minutes at this point. I'm like, I'm like, come on, like give me something here. And so they keep walking, and they keep walking.
Like, no shoot. I'm just, he kind of tells the story like how the other Dinobots got captured and stuff, and he's by himself. Which
because they're in the Cybertronium pits apparently.
Cybertonium,
sorry.
Yes.
But so Spike and Carly and Swoop wander around. They find a giant Cybertronian video jukebox. They had laser discs in here.
Before this is so weird, man. Okay, you know how like at one point Carly hurt her ankle. She's like limping around and stuff.
Right.
There was a scene where like they start leaving Spike, like when they're leaving Wheeljack's lab. Spike's like, "Hey, you're walking okay." She's like, "Oh, I think it's better." Like she was faking her limp.
It was real robotic too. Like I was like, "Oh, maybe she's gonna be like part like robot."
She's like a double spot.
Like
oh, I think it's better now. That was it. That's all you got.
Like they wasted so much time with that. Like, what was the point of that? Because they made a point earlier on of like Spike carrying her with real bad animation of her like picking her up and her like Like,
But they find they find the mass transit system, which is kind of cool, I guess.
that was kind of cool.
Yeah, they get into the subway system, like, and there's they go through all these different twists and stuff. That's kind of cool. It's like writing something at like Disney or MG or Universal Studios. Like your stomach drops out and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, this was very much the transportation of the future,
Yeah, pretty much.
Which I mean, I'd ride it in glass tube with a little rocket.
100%. Well, then they like come to this break in the tube, and they get out, and she's she's not limping again. She's fine. She apparently can walk around just fine. I don't know what's the whole about that.
She walked it off. It's fine.
Yeah, she walked it off, right? But so they come across this room of misfit robots. There was like these old, like, these must be the ancestors of the Autobots. Like, why would you think that?
The ancestors, and we're back to the relatives though. They're ancestors, the Autobots. Then they watch this is where they watch the video where they watch.
They find the laser displayer of Cybertron, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, before that, there's a pendulum trap that swings, and like they're in an old Hammer film, and it hits like swoop.
That was real dumb.
Yeah, it was really.
It was real dumb. That was really silly.
Yeah, she finds the laser displayer, and you used to see a Cliff's Notes version of the history of the wars. They're
they found like a Ken Burns documentary in there.
Yeah, they did.
And
that's a great way to put it.
So there's like this war, but like all the robots in this they all look like those. You ever get those little like those gumball machines, those quarter things with the bubbles, the plastic bubbles, and you got like the robot erasers in there. This was like an army of robot erasers fighting another army of robot erasers. This was like oh my god, this is me playing my desk when I was like 7, like with the crap I got from the school store.
This is like when you go and get the knockoff GoBots from the corner store, and
and that's saying a lot, because
they're like the really bad decals that peel off as you open the package up. That's what these guys are.
Machine Robo.
Yeah,
we've talked about Machine Robo. We've talked about Machine.
Yes, we have.
I know about Machine Robo.
But there is a purple robot that has his own villain CRT in his chest.
This guy was cool.
That was great, man. Who knew I needed this? I need a flat panel, like, I guess LED TV in my chest to open up and like talk to my friends. But
it kind of reminded me of like you ever see like Bob Dylan playing, and he has like that harmonica thing, that holds the harmonica by his mouth. That's kind of what it was like with a little, like with an iPad right there. That's kind of, I think we need that. I think we've come as a society to where we need iPads implanted into your chest so you can just watch.
That's not wrong. So actually, he calls Shockwave, and Shockwave's like, "Oh, bring him to here," and then he calls, "Make sure you bring the foreign robot." Like, dude, he's not crossing the Rio Grande. He's just like, he's on the planet. He's a transformer also. Of course, he doesn't have Cybertonian, but he is he's a legitimate transformer. But he calls him a foreign robot. Yeah. So Spike can't get a hold of his dad because apparently they're too deep now. And but they get brought into like this pit that's just surrounded like laser fence thing, like a invisible fence for your dog, but except it's lasers for Dinobots,
right?
And Grimlock is Grimlock is so sad. They're all so sad.
They're like working. They're like doing manual labor. That's the last thing the Dinobots want to do. They just want to fight, but they're brainwashed and doing manual labor and moving green crystals into mining carts. Yeah, sound familiar?
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't we deal with this plot?
Green energy. But basically says you can't transform. They're like, oh, they're beaten down. They're like, they have the beaten down thing of like a guy working like a factory in like 1940s Britain. He's just like, oh, no reason to live. And so Carly, though, dude, I don't know where Carly's been. Her and Chip must have learned at the same facility, because she looks at like at Sledge's circuitry. He's like, "Swoop, let me look at yours." Looks at his, like, okay, I know it's been changed. She rewires all the Dinobots so they're not sad anymore.
I don't know what I don't know what. I guess this was like what was the last episode with the equilibrium circuits or whatever that she fixed. Remember that? Where
She knows how to hotwire transform.
Bumblebee wasn't having a good time on the teacup ride,
That's
so
right.
she turned his fun circuits on. Yeah, I guess she turned their sad circuits off, and now they're fine. Now they can transform and they fight these like C grade robots and they blow all these guys up.
I love this though. Spike, she asks while she's doing this though, she goes, "Can you fix them?" And she like pats him like, "Oh, you poor idiot. Yeah, I can do this." It was the most patronizing thing. Like, "Oh, okay." So yeah, she fixes them. They fight their way out. The C grade robots, see, they're all melted. They come to one of those tubes and realize there's no car. Like, what are we gonna do? And Grimlock's like, "I don't need a car." He grabs them and flies. He's like,
and flies, yeah.
Good.
And yep. And then they go back to the space bridge. They give the Cybertonium to Optimus Prime, and Optimus Prime gives them some medallions. They get some.
It's like the end of Star Wars: A New Hope.
It was like the end of
it was. But yeah, I mean, like I love it. So back down on my base, like Sparkplug, he pulls a high score screen from an arcade, basically resetting the space bridge before they come back. It looks like a high score screen. Like,
it does look
there's a name, there's a score, there's a name, and a score. But yeah, they end up they're. I don't know how they end up before this. They get back into Shockwave's control room, and they are not the quietest at all. But they sneak up on Shockwave, like he is like totally into something. They like sneak up on him, and like everything's cool. They get back in the space bridge. Yeah, they come home, and Optimus Prime has decided to make Spike and Carly honorary Autobots.
Yeah, which I thought Spike already was an honorary Autobot.
Well, he didn't have a medal, but Sparkplug like looks on like he didn't get a medal.
He's the Chewbacca of this.
He is.
He's the Chewbacca. It's gonna have to be a special edition of this to give him a medal. So speaking of the high scores, though, who do you think would put in? Which Autobot do you think would put in USA as their initials, and which one do you think would put in ASS as their initials? Because those are the two you have to do. You have to do those two.
USA would definitely be Optimus Prime.
I think so too.
ASS would definitely be Huffer or Sideswipe. Maybe one of those guys.
I could see Sideswipe or Sunstreaker both doing.
Oh yeah, Huffer is like that. He has that annoying like ha 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 voice. He'd be the one to do that too. I think he's funny. He's not. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like Ironhide wouldn't do anything because he wouldn't even play. He would be mad that he couldn't put his full name in and just like storm off. Like, I can't even do it. Like I could see like Jazz just getting frustrated and just doing AAA because he can't figure out how to change the things.
That is a total. I actually remember years ago when I was. It was years after like arcades were big. I was playing like Galaga or something somewhere that wasn't like a weird place for Galaga to be, and I couldn't change the letters when I was trying to put my high score in. So I just AA. I'm like
AA. Yep. Tons. Yeah. I remember the first time I played a tag team wrestling at the arcade. It was like you name your team. You don't have 3 letters. Just name your team. And it was like, I couldn't figure out how to change the letter. So it was the AAA team every time I played it, which in hindsight, there actually is a wrestling league called AAA or no, it's Spanish. They're from Mexico. They're AAA or AAA. But so in hindsight, I'm like, I was ahead of my time. However, what was not ahead of its time is this episode, because this is the single most boring episode of this show that we've watched so far. It's not bad. Yeah. It's not a bad episode by any metric, but nothing happens. Like well over half of this episode is literally just Spike and Carly walking around, and then they meet Swoop and they walk around with Swoop for a little while. This is like the only thing I could compare this to like the dumb joke from Clerks 2 about how much Randall hates Return of the King because they're just walking around. This was just walking around, dude. At least Return of the King had some cool battles and stuff in it. But
2 Towers is more like that. Anyways,
dude, I could barely take notes on this episode. There was just nothing to sink my teeth into. Period. Like nothing happens in this, and in hindsight, we really should. I didn't know this in advance. We really should have just done part 1 and 2 as a like one episode. I think
could have.
And in hindsight, Sunbow should have just done parts 1 and 2 as one episode too, since there's nothing happens. They really could have tied this up in one episode. So this was torturous and I hated it. Like the least fun I've had, I think, doing this. Not doing this. Doing the show is always fun, but watching this, I'm just like, oh my God. I really wanted like Ninja Turtles on a second screen or something like that to give me some, like that said, Adult Brain is going to give this episode 0 anythings for wasting my time.
Oh,
Like
wow.
absolute waste of my time. 0, nothing, because it's like nothing to make fun of. Nothing was cool. No cool battles. Nothing. 0 anythings for wasting my time. Kid Brain, I guess I'll give it like 1 eraser robot that I got from Chuck E. Cheese Gashpon Machine out of 5. Because even Kid Brain would have been bored with this. I would have been playing with my Transformers, or I would have been playing with muscle figures or GI Joes or something while I was watching this. Because like nothing happens in this.
I can see that. Yeah,
God. 1 robot eraser.
I mean, honestly though, I liked it. Was I really hated how they retconned like the beginning of that, where like Shockwave destroys the entire space bridge, corridor thing. But it's kind of stupid, and yeah, but it was really boring. It really was. Luckily it happened. So much happened in the episode that it wasn't important that it went right through. It would just like flowed because nothing happened. The only cool thing is when they start touching on the history and stuff. I like that, the Laserdisc player, but it only got to go for like a little while. Ken Burns only got to speak for a short time.
Yeah, exactly. I could have like I know you can't. I mean, I guess you can't really do that for a kids cartoon in the 80s, but like an entire episode of that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah. God, I'm trying to think of there's going to be some really good like flashback episodes coming up. They have like think like let's see, Secret of Omega Supreme, Search for Alpha Trion, things like that.
What's the next episode?
Oh, the next episode is Blaster Blues.
Oh no.
It's one of those fun episodes.
Okay.
It's not terrible, but I would definitely give this one I'll give this one 2 laser discs out of 5. Just because it's nothing's happening. It was funny in some areas, but it wasn't, what didn't I could have like you said, you could have wrapped it up in 1 episode.
Oh yeah.
This is all like a wrap up. I like the mass transit system. Big fan of that, and I like the laser discs. Other than that, meh, whatever. But
yeah.
But well, there are some terrible ones. Dude, after Blaster Blues is a Decepticon Raider in King Arthur's Court.
Man, I'm so excited to see this episode.
So ridiculous. But also there's an episode after that called The God Gambit, which is really good.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was when this like more of the God Gambit is more high sci-fi, like good, pulpy sci-fi stuff with as the characters. So yeah, there's some good and some bad coming up. So it'll be really fun. Anyways, so I would tell everyone to hit us up on the YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, whatever you want to do. As our friends over at Real Phonies like to say, they say it really fast though. So anyways, I want to say thanks for everyone for being here. Checking us out. Check out the Discord. We the link is in the show notes. We usually have a lot going on. And it's been kind of quiet because we took a week off here because Ed was doing support for UK stuff for his company, and I had a heck of a week with us.
It was fine. It was like I've worked that shift before. This time I couldn't get in. Essentially, I ended up working at 2 a.m. My time to about 10 a.m. And it's normally fine. The last time I did it, I got into a really good rhythm for it, and this time I could not, and I was constantly tired and constantly a zombie and could not. I was having a hard time like driving, and it was it wasn't cool. But I'm on. So I ended up having to take some time off to kind of recoup.
It was a rough week for me too, so it's all good, man. Also let everyone know that I'm working on a Beast Wars episode with an old friend of mine, Jim, who we knew from like old Transformers, days and stuff like that. So you don't have to go through Beast Wars, because I know your impression of Beast Wars was not the kindest. It's
no, I didn't mind Beast Wars.
the rat riding the rhino, as you said.
Yeah, he does that weird. I mean, it's 90s CGI. It's I
It
didn't hate
is.
it. It was
It
just
is.
I was just dying laughing at it because
Yeah.
it was just funny. I mean, 'cause, it's like I mean, you only get so many movements
It
for a
gets
thing. I
better in
mean,
the.
no, but no, Beast Wars is fine. I don't hate. I have no
And then
real.
working on the next UK comic with Boo. So that's
Nice.
all in the pipeline. Like I tell my wife, I was like, you know what? I'll take a break one day. So anyways, y'all.
Bye.
Yeah. Let's cut it here for this week, man. You got anything for us?
I didn't have a Transformers quote, but I have a Warhammer 40,000 quote though, which
Let's
is
hear it.
hatred is the Emperor's greatest gift to humanity.
Oh, that's so good. I'm like listening to False Gods right now.
I know, right?
Oh, I went through the whole thing with Nergalith and the moon. That was
Yeah.
so good.
Super cool, super cool. So
All
yeah,
right.
and yes, I'm still and I swear to God, guys, I have been working on that bonus Warhammer episode, and we're gonna do it one of these days.
Yeah,
So
I'm excited
yeah,
for that because I'm really enjoying book 2 of the Horus Heresy.
it's a lot of fun. Yeah. So all
All
right,
right, guys. Y'all take it easy. Thanks so much for being here and talk to y'all later.
roll
Later.
out.